This week's topic will give you a deeper understanding of what it means to re-own shame, how to do it, and how it even got developed in the first place, and what its role is in your life. Now imagine yourself as a 3-year-old child, and the way you express your excitement is through yelling and screaming. Your parent rushes in, grabs you, takes you to a room, and reprimands and scolds you for behaving in such way because that's not how they would like you to behave. Now you have in that moment as a child to either abide by what your parents are asking for, or if you choose how you want to express yourself, the risk of being abandoned, neglected, rejected as a person. Now, this is the beginning of losing your authenticity. This is the beginning of socialization. And as a child, all your world revolves around is me. That's how you internalize things. So the first thing you're going to go to is there's something wrong with me, or I did something wrong. And in order to stay in my parents' good graces, or to be protected or sheltered or loved or stay connected to them, I need to abandon my truth, which is yelling and screaming and excitement, to be in their love and affection and connection. Now, most children are going to choose the latter. As a social species, we are hardwired to prioritize staying connected to the group because that means survival, that means safety, and that interconnectedness is what helps us grow as a spirit and as an individual, but also it means the survival of the group and of the species itself. So what happens in the moment that you choose your parents' want instead of your own want and desires and authenticity is that you split in your consciousness, you fracture. That's the beginning stages of shame. When that characteristic gets called out and you get reprimanded, let's say in this example, you're screaming in excitement, and it gets reprimanded more and more and more over time. It just gets reinforced in your being and in your psyche that that is not okay. That characteristic is wrong. And that inherently is something bad about you. And so what we feel within the body is shame. What we feel in the body is, oh God, get that characteristic, get the screaming away from me. That is not me. That is not who I am. And whenever you feel that being touched, things feel triggered, things feel inflamed. So what we need to understand about shame is that shame are different aspects of us that we actively reject, deny, and repress. So if shame are just different aspects that we actively repress, deny, and reject, how do we integrate them? How do we create healing and resolve shame? Well, what you do is to bring those qualities closer to us instead of push them away. Now, the pushing away happens very subconsciously, so we have to bring consciousness or light around the fact that we are doing that. And then we start to bring them closer to us, so hopefully one day we can actually embrace it, love it, and make it a part of ourselves and our whole being. Now, I hope you can see how each week's topic builds upon each other, and that what it really means to love yourself is to bring these aspects that we unconsciously reject, deny, repress closer to you, and to hopefully one day love these parts of you. That's what you're going to feel as self-love. And right now, most of us are living in a place of being extremely fractured. So any type of light and awareness and consciousness around these parts is a step closer to self-love. So let's get into week 3's exercise. It's all about integrating shame. Now, how we're going to integrate shame is going to happen in 2 parts. The first part of this exercise is going to be a guided meditation that I'm going to lead you through. And the second part is more of a day-to-day in real life practice. First, I want you to come into a comfortable meditation position. Again, either sitting upright or laying down, whatever feels best for you in this moment. Then take a couple deep breaths, relax the body, and come into a safe inner space. Start to do your body scan from head to toe and see what you're feeling in terms of body sensation. Slowly land on a body part that's calling forward to you the most. Most likely the body part you're going to land on is one that you've already explored. But if it is a new one, go through the process again in week 1's body talk and get to know this part, personify it, ask it questions, and start to understand it, and then come back to this part. Once you brought this body parts persona forward and you've taken some time to get connected and to bring presence around it, I want you to then say these 3 things. Now, the caveat to saying these statements is that you got to do it without judgment, and you got to do it from a place of honesty, from the depths of your heart. Because when you don't, these aspects are going to know right away because they're connected to you. They are you. And the wonderful thing about these parts and personas is that they have such intelligence and such beauty around them, just like you. So the 3 things that you're going to say is this. The first being, I see you. The second being, I understand you. And the third being, I want you closer to me. Now, when you say those things out loud and you feel any type of resistance or any type of blockages in the way, I want you to take a step back and continue on with week 1's exercise. I want you to continue on building that relationship with this body part and persona. Keep saying these 3 statements slowly over and over again until you start to feel this part of you or aspect of you soften, until you feel it start to move closer to you and that you really find a deeper connection with each other. You can stop right here and end the exercise. However, the goal is to move forward and to fully integrate. Because any step closer to integration is loving yourself fully. So this might be enough. But if you're really feeling the openness and the urge to integrate and fully merge, what you're going to do is you're going to imagine this person or persona or aspect to merge with you and come closer and closer and closer. Now, the merge can look like holding hands and merging, or giving it a hug and dissolving into you. But you want the merge to happen as if it's actually like absorbing into your whole being. And this can happen in many creative, different ways. If you've merged and that felt right and appropriate in that moment, you're going to thank yourself, give yourself a moment to really feel it in your blood, in your DNA of full integration, of you becoming closer and closer to your true self, because you literally are. You're changing the whole internal landscape of who you are and who you think you are. And that's such a beautiful thing. And then for those who haven't merged, don't worry. You have more chances ahead of you. Just keep doing the exercise and that day will come. Now let's move on to part 2 of integrating shame. This is more of a day-to-day if it happens in a real life situation. Now, most of us have felt shame creep up in different situations that we're in. And so this practice is for that moment. So when you feel shame come up, and you'll feel it straight in your body right away, and this is where our previous practices help us bring awareness to what our body is saying and how it's communicating to us, you're going to bring utter presence around it. So you're going to take a moment to stop, and that might mean removing yourself from the situation and saying you need a bathroom break or to go into a different room. Bathroom works really well because no one could really argue with you going to the bathroom. So take a moment, get away from everybody, and create utter presence around what you're feeling. And it's probably going to be a mix of emotions, but also physical sensations. So whether that's shortness of breath, anxiety, heart palpitations, a headache, whatever it might be, you're going to bring a lot of presence around it, and you're going to be with it the best that you can. I know it's really difficult, especially when shame creeps up, because we want to just push it away. We want to cope with it. We want it gone. But the practice here towards integration is for you to actually be with it and be okay with it. And the more and more you practice this, the better you'll get at it. But then also too, these aspects of you that are getting triggered are going to feel safer and safer to be authentic, to be who they are. And you're going to feel it right away. You're going to feel less triggered. You're going to feel less anxiety in those types of situations. Now, I hope that gives you deeper understanding on how to integrate shame and why it's so important on the path of self-love and self-healing. I'll see you in week 4.